Happy Thanksgiving. Actually, today I'm on vacation with my wife celebrating my birthday, which falls on Thanksgiving this year. Actually, it fell on Thanksgiving the day I was born, and it very rarely does. We have so much to be thankful for, and I wanted to tape this before I left to wish you a happy Thanksgiving and to talk briefly about how much freer our country is than any other country in the world. We include so-called democracies like Britain and France and Germany, Italy, Spain. No comparison between the level of freedom in the United States, even under Obama, and the level in those countries. But as always, perhaps I could talk about the politics of Thanksgiving, the original Thanksgiving. And it goes back to the politics of England that led to the emigration of the Pilgrims and of the earlier settlers to the New World. And interestingly, the polarity that was reflected in the English Civil War in the 17th century became the same polarity in the American Civil War in the 19th century. Let me explain. In the 17th century, at the beginning of it, there was a strong effort by the English monarchy to move toward a restoration of the Catholic Church in England. And it took the form of making the Anglican service, which was so similar to the Catholic service, more and more ornate and more like the Catholic service. As you recall, England became a Protestant country, not through any change in doctrine like the Lutherans or the Calvinists. It became a Protestant country simply because Henry VIII couldn't get divorced. The Pope wouldn't let him because he was married to the Queen of Spain, and he was determined to get divorced, so he broke away from the Pope and the Catholic Church and reestablished basically the Catholic Church, but without a Pope. And that became the Anglican Church that now is the Episcopal Church in the United States. Well, that so angered the Protestants and the Puritans, the extreme Protestants in Britain, that they overthrew the monarchy and killed Charles I, the king. That freaked out the upper classes in Britain, and they fled Britain to the newly established Jamestown colony in Virginia. It was founded in 1607, but it got most of its migration as the Cavaliers, as the monarchists were called, fled Britain because the king had been first deposed and then executed. And that led to the flourishing of a monarchist British colony in Virginia that was based on class structure, respect for authority, respect for dogma, all of the stuff that was prevalent in monarchical Britain. Then, toward the end of the 17th century, Britain got sick and tired of the Commonwealth, as the Republic was called, and which was really a military dictatorship by Oliver Cromwell. And after Cromwell died, they overthrew it and restored to the throne Charles II, the son of the king who had been executed. And all of a sudden, the tables were turned, and the Puritans, the extreme Protestants, were being persecuted. And they began to flee, and they settled at Plymouth Rock in the Massachusetts Bay Colony. So you had the Cavaliers, who were pro-monarchy, who formed Jamestown in Virginia, and you had the Puritans, who were anti-monarchy, who fled and formed the Massachusetts Bay Colony in the north. And they were founded along completely opposite lines. The Massachusetts colony valued simplicity in their religious services, democracy in their social and political lives, a leveling of rank, and they were called in Britain the Roundheads. And they, when they fled to the United States, they were the Puritans. And their whole focus was on an egalitarian, leveled society of yeoman farmers, each working hard on his land, coming together in community and town meetings, and direct democracy. The Virginians, on the other hand, were focused on classes, slaves, overlords, and the ranking and ordering of society, such as existed in England. Eventually, those two schools of thought developed and evolved into the North and the South, and led to the Civil War that at its core was really a reenactment of the English Civil War. And when the North won, of course, that began to change the South, and the South became much more integrated into the nation and much more distant from the practices of the British monarchy. But I think it's fascinating to understand that that was really what the Pilgrims were all about. I also want to take this opportunity to thank you for watching these videos. The fact that I'm able to have people that are so interested in what I have to say that they actually tune in to listen to me, particularly on a holiday, is really very gratifying. It makes me feel very good, and it really animates me and motivates me in doing the work that I do. So thank you very, very much.